Outta Pocket right out the gate and challenge everybody to think deeper. What if the Super Bowl isn't decided by who's better, but by who survives their own habits? Because on one side, you got the New England Patriots, efficient, surgical in their quarterback. He might make history. On the other, you've got the Seattle Seahawks' violent defense, explosive moments, and a quarterback who's living the greatest, don't call it a comeback season we've seen in quite some time. We'll dive into the Super Bowl preview, Sam Darnold's incredible comeback story, why a Super Bowl win makes Drake Maye and Mike Vrabel the new Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, why there aren't more black head coaches in the NFL, and why the NFL's work-life balance ethos still treats family like it's a penalty flag. All in 33 minutes or less. Think we can do it?
Yes.
All right. So come get in the huddle by subscribing to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media, and leave a comment on what you want us to talk about next. Welcome to Outta Pocket with RGIII, hosted by your boy and the lovely, amazing, incredible, 109-time All-American, Grete Griffin. All right, guys, today is a menu. You heard it. We were talking about Super Bowl breakdowns, storylines, uncomfortable truths, and the "are you serious right now" moment at the very end.
In translation, he means he's about to use football as therapy again.
Oh, baby, come on now. You know I don't need therapy. I got you.
They do the same milk does the body good.
Ooh, yes, they do. They love that milk, don't they? They love that milk.
All right, let's move the chains and get to our first segment, the opening drive. Super Bowl 60 is on February 8th at Levi Stadium, the Super Bowl rematch between the Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots. Let's talk about the numbers that actually matter here. This is the first Super Bowl since 1970's merger where both teams are ranked top 4 in scoring offense and top 4 in scoring defense in the regular season. The Seahawks and Patriots both average over 28 points per game, and their defenses give up 18 points or less per game.
Yeah, so that means both teams can score, but scoring on them isn't easy. That means efficiency is going to be the name of the game in this Super Bowl, and that takes us straight to the quarterback battle, baby.
Talk to them. Talk to them.
Yes.
How do the Seahawks stop Drake Maye?
Well, they have to put more pressure on him than a button on a medium shirt that you just put in the dryer. All right, that thing shrunk on you. Drake Maye leads the NFL in quarterback efficiency in so many different categories. Completion percentage, QBR, passer rating. He also had a 31-8 touchdown to interception ratio and threw for 4,394 yards. That is what you call not playing like a second-year player or a second-year breakthrough. And he can literally make history. At 23 years old and 162 days, he'd be the youngest quarterback ever to win a Super Bowl. So when you talk about pressure on a guy off the field, there's all these expectations. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Super Bowls in New England. But on the field, you're talking about pressure and sacks that do a thing that we call, they create drive killer math. Right now, New England allows a pressure percentage up front from their offensive line of 38.3%. That means they're giving up a sack 8.7% of the time. That's bottom 10 in the NFL. Not to mention that they've already given up 15 sacks in the 3 playoff games they played up to this point. Now, pressure doesn't just cause sacks. It causes bad decisions. So when you talk about a defensive coordinator, how does he want to affect the quarterback? He wants to get him off his spot, force him to make bad decisions, get them behind the chains. And this Seattle defense, man, they're just not good. They're disruptive. You want to talk about a defense that has a sack rate of 6.81%, and their blitz package is absolutely filthy. I played against this defense for 3 years in Baltimore because Mike McDonald was a defensive coach on that staff. And when they get up to the line of scrimmage, you'd think to yourself, oh, I know this guy's coming and this guy's coming. And they'll just give the defensive players the freedom at the line of scrimmage to tell each other what the blitz pattern is going to be, so you're never correct. That, to me, is something that not a lot of people are talking about, but they create pressure on blitzes at a rate of 56%, which is the best in the NFL, which makes the Seattle defense the most dangerous pressure team in all of the NFL, 47 sacks, 25 takeaways this year. Seattle has to be able to get home with 4 rushers so they can be selective with their blitzers against Drake Maye and force him to look like a young QB in the Super Bowl.
So if you're saying if Seattle turns this into chaos, they can then steal possessions.
100%. Exactly. And if you're looking for like a sneaky swing factor in this game, you got a couple bets you're trying to put out there, or you just want your team to win, I want you to really pay attention to who creates extra possessions in this game. Short fields will tip the scales in the direction of your team. So if they can steal a possession by getting a 4th down stop, steal a possession by getting an interception, and get the ball back into their offense's hands, that time of possession is going to be so crucial when you have 2 teams that really value staying on the field and staying committed to the run game.
So how do the Patriots then beat the Seahawks?
They beat the Seahawks by making the Seahawks beat themselves. And I know that sounds this is football talk. It's not football talk. Seattle has been a much more chaotic team this year than the Patriots have. So when you look at that in this type of game, that makes it extremely dangerous because they've had some issues protecting the football. So you get one fumble, one tip ball, one ball that doesn't bounce your way or bounces your way if you're the Patriots, and it completely changes the game. You could be down 10 points, and that is not where Seattle wants to be against this Patriots team. They will run the heck out of the football. They proved that in the AFC Championship game. They are absolutely built to win ugly games. Their whole playoff identity, people, has been, we're going to win the game that you don't want to play. So if it means running the ball 35, 40, 45 times, we'll do it. If that means throwing it 35, 45 times, which I don't think they want to do, but they are willing to go to those lengths to make it happen. So the Patriots, their game plan will be determined by trying to force Seattle to play behind the chains. Seattle's got a top 5 running game. Yes, they don't have Zach Charbonnet, but they've got Kenneth Walker III. He ran the ball extremely effectively in the NFC Championship game. So the Patriots want to be able to get them in a 2nd and long and 3rd and longs and allow Kalavon Chason, Christian Barrymore, Milton Williams, Anthony Jennings, and potentially Harold Landry III, who could come back in this game to create sacks and turnovers on the young guy.
What's a player matchup in this game that you think can decide the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, listen, everybody's going to say this, but it's so true. You got Jackson Smith and Jigba going up against Christian Gonzalez. So Smith and Jigba, JSN as we call him, led the league in receiving yards, 1,793 receiving yards, almost 2,000 if you can include the playoffs. So he established himself, in my opinion, as the best receiver in all the NFL this year. And he got his first All-Pro nomination, or should I say accolade. And you look at Christian Gonzalez, he picked up his first ever Pro Bowl appearance. He had 11 pass breakups in 14 games this year. He's a shutdown corner. I don't anticipate that both of them will be matched up for the entirety of the game because JSN moves around the formation so much. I mean, Seattle even put him in the backfield, and he ran a corner route, a sail route as we call it, from the backfield just so you could hide him away from all these guys that are looking for him. But Gonzalez not following him around is also probably a good thing because if you pay too much attention to Jackson Smith and Jigba, you've also got Rashid Shaheed, who is a nightmare. Please play single safety against Rashid Shaheed, and Sam Darnold's going to be throwing bombs over Baghdad the entire game. But now if you put too much attention on Rashid Shaheed and Jackson Smith and Jigba, you still have Cooper Kupp there. And Cooper Kupp has been extremely efficient for the Seattle offense, moving the chains and keeping them in favorable downs and distances. So Seattle had a top 10 explosive play rate this season. It's not just because of Jackson Smith and Jigba, but he's a hard cover. So when Gonzalez is on him, if they can allow him to play him one-on-one and he can win that matchup, which no one's really won that matchup all season with him, then you can put some other attention and maybe double Cooper Kupp or put a safety over the top of Rashid Shaheed. And that's where, to me, Sam Darnold's maturation during the playoffs has been really effective.
Maturation.
You like those big words, you know what I'm saying?
So good.
So yeah, one busted coverage, one deep shot could determine the whole game, bust this thing wide open. If there was a blowout, I would see it as a blowout in Seattle's favor as opposed to in New England's because Seattle has more firepower on offense.
Okay. But does a Super Bowl win make Drake Maye and Mike Vrabel the new Tom Brady and Bill Belichick?
Yes, it does. Maye became a legitimate MVP candidate this year.
Yes.
Right? So he's probably going to finish second in MVP voting to Matthew Stafford. And that's something like winning an MVP is something that Tom Brady didn't do until his fourth year. But a Super Bowl, Brady was able to bring the Patriots to Super Bowl in year 2. So if Drake Maye is able to also do that, the comparisons will be inevitable because they're going to feel like they're reliving through deja vu.
Yeah. Is Mike Vrabel the best coach in the NFL right now?
He's one of the best. A Super Bowl win for Mike Vrabel, taking his team from 4-13 the year before he was there to 14-3 and a Super Bowl victory throws him into the conversation with Andy Reid, Nick Sirianni, Sean McVay, Sean Payton. So yes, if the Patriots win the Super Bowl, Mike Vrabel is now the best coach in the NFL, and him and Drake Maye become the new Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in New England.
People are not going to like that.
I gotta tell the truth. We
let's-
speak the truth here, people.
Let's get to our feel-good story of the week. Now that we know what decides the game, let's talk about the man who might decide it with his wildest career plot twist in the league. Sam Darnold. Is Sam Darnold having one of the best comebacks of all time?
Yes. Sam Darnold is having one of the best receipt seasons ever. The NFL tried to put this man on Do Not Disturb, and he said, I'm going to turn it in to Do Not Test Me, people. The NFL will humble you.
Hold on, I actually need that on my iPhone. Instead of Do Not Disturb, I just want to put on Do Not Test Me.
Do not test me, people, okay?
Oh my God,
Listen,
that's good.
I'm an 8-year vet in the NFL. Seen it every which way. Starter, backup, out of the league, back in the league, fourth quarterback, find a way to get a team to keep the quarterback for the 3 quarterbacks for the first time in a decade. I've seen it all. The NFL will humble you extremely fast. 1 second, you're the man, you're top pick, you're the future. In a blink of an eye, you become a punchline. So for Sam Darnold, he threw 63 touchdowns in 6 years. His first 6 years in the NFL, 63 touchdowns. New York, Carolina, had to stop there in San Francisco with the 49ers. And now he's thrown 60 touchdowns in the last 2 years. Playing for the Minnesota Vikings, playing for the Seattle Seahawks, and almost over 8,300 yards. So when you look at that from a quarterback's perspective, he's basically eclipsed what he did in 6 seasons in 2 years. And it's because he found stability at the head coach position, stability at the weapons around him. And to see him grow and develop and not just sulk because it started tough is truly one of the best comebacks I've ever seen. And here's the crazy thing. In the Super Bowl, he actually has a chance to do something that everyone written him off for and said he would never be able to accomplish.
What is it?
Win the Super Bowl and become that dude. He's number 3 pick in the draft. Everyone knew he had the talent, but now he really has the pen to write his own narrative. So Sam Darnold has to do what he's been doing this entire playoffs. Take care of the football, hit the explosive plays when they're there. Don't give the Patriots any free possessions. His last 2 playoff games, he has not turned the football over. And this is a saying that I live and die by because a coach once told me this, and it stuck with me. He said, when you're playing quarterback, it's just like life. You can't go broke taking a profit. So take what the defense gives you. If they're going to allow Jack Smith-Njigba to go out there and do his thing, throw it to him. If they're going to take him away, throw it to Cooper Kupp. If they're going to take him away, get Rashid Shaheed involved. If they're going to take him all away, run the football. Do whatever you have to do to win the game. And then the story that will be written is that he's the first quarterback from his draft class, which included Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen, to win a Super Bowl. That would be legendary.
It's a crazy stat.
Football's biggest game is right around the corner, and you can get in on all the action with Underdog. Not on Underdog yet? Then you're in luck, because new customers score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. This week on Underdog, we're looking at Patriots quarterback Drake Maye to go higher than 222.5 passing yards, because whether they're ahead or behind, I think he's going to be able to throw for more than 86 yards like he did in the AFC Championship game. And I'm also selecting Seahawks player Sam Darnold to go higher than 229.5 passing yards, because one way or the other, I think it's going to be a high-flying, passing football game. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code RG3 to score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. That's promo code RG3, Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 or older, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/webplay and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
All right, guys, viral spiral number 1. Now, let's talk about opportunity in the league that does not always get distributed evenly. Because when we see how fast some guys get promoted, it raises a much bigger question.
Oh, yeah.
This NFL hiring cycle, there were 10 head coach openings. The Bills hired Joe Brady. The Steelers hired Mike McCarthy. Ravens hired Jesse Minter. Giants hired John Harbaugh. Falcons hired Kevin Stefanski. Titans hired Robert Saleh. Browns hired Todd Monken. Cardinals hired Mike LaFleur. And the Raiders hired Klint Kubiak. Now, 9 white coaches, 1 Lebanese, but 0 black head coaches in a league that is 70% black players. There are only 3 black head coaches in the NFL today. DeMeco Ryans with the Texans, Todd Bowles with the Bucks, and Aaron Glenn with the Jets. So why aren't there more black head coaches in the NFL?
Well, it's circumstance, comfortability, and access. It's not a coincidence.
And that's the part that makes people uncomfortable, because you can't call it coincidence just forever.
Like I said, circumstance, comfortability, and access. What it really boils down to is the fact that NFL head coaching, the NFL head coaching fraternity, is hard to break into with the amount of nepotism, back scratching, and all the things that occur that makes it really tough for former players to break into the profession, to climb to the positions that are coveted as head coaches. You know, head coaches aren't really getting hired as the DB coach, as the only the quarterback coach, as the offensive line coach. It's offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. Like, the days of special teams coaches getting jobs like John Harbaugh did are very few and far between. So when you look at it from a former player's perspective, if they can't climb into those positions, oftentimes, you know, owners and front office executives, they want to hire the people they're most comfortable with, who look like them, who they connect with best, right? That who they want to go golfing with, the people who have the similar life experiences as them. And on one hand, you're like, I get it. I understand that. If I want to go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, right? Am I gonna, and somebody's gonna make that for me? Am I gonna go to Boston, Massachusetts for someone to make me some Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, or am I gonna go to inner city Houston? Am I gonna go to Compton, or am I gonna go to Wyoming? And sometimes when it comes to this, it is a matter of circumstance, comfortability, and access. It doesn't mean that it's right. It means that there are clear examples of circumstance, comfortability, and access when it comes to former players. So let me walk you through this real quick. It's not an opinion. It is an absolute fact that not all players are being treated the same. So as a fan, you might see something that says, hey, quarterbacks, you finish playing, boom, you can become a quarterback coach, you get an OC, you get a head coach, and you're on the fast track. But the fast track isn't available for everybody. For example, Kellen Moore went from playing quarterback to being a QB coach to an offensive coordinator in 2 years for the Dallas Cowboys after retiring. Then he became the head coach of the New Orleans Saints within 8 years after retiring. That's what you call a fast track. Kevin O'Connell went from playing, he coached in 2015. He was an OC in 4 years by 2019, and then he was the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings in year 7 by 2022. That's a fast track. The Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator Sean Mannion and the Washington Commanders offensive coordinator David Blow both went from playing to being on a coaching staff to being an offensive coordinator in 3 years. That is a fast track. So you say to yourself, what do all those quarterbacks have in common? Well, all of them were backup QBs, smart players, but they also happen to be white. So have we seen black quarterbacks go into coaching? Yes, we have. We saw it with Byron Leftwich. Byron Leftwich became an NFL coach in 2016, okay? In 3 years, he was the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Bucks. And guess what? Had a lot of success. He won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. And Byron Leftwich, although he got head coaching interviews, he never got a head coaching job. Now he's not even coaching in the NFL. So you have to ask yourself, is that just a coincidence? Did he bomb the interview? Was he terrible? Or was it circumstance? Was it him not making the right people comfortable that make those decisions? Was it him not having the proper connections to get the access to the job that he needed? Because I can tell you right now, if you're on Sean McVay's staff, you're basically a walking head coach. Because all 4 of Sean McVay's last offensive coordinators have been head coaches.
Yep. You're going to get Liam Cohen, Mike LaFleur, Matt LaFleur, and Kevin O'Connell.
Boom. They had the right circumstance. They made the right people comfortable. And they had the right connections to get access to the job.
Yep.
So I asked myself, well, why didn't Seneca Wallace get that opportunity? Why didn't Jason Campbell get that opportunity? Cleo Lemon? Teddy Bridgewater? Randall Cunningham? Yeah, I know Michael Vick is now in the coaching profession because he's a head coach at Norfolk State at the HBCU. And we know everything that Michael Vick had to go through. And I know that there's some players out there that have had some things happen off the field that would make people uncomfortable with them being the head coach. But these other guys that were mentioned, what is there? Why weren't they given that same opportunity? Because I can tell you this. Not everybody wants to coach.
No,
That's a fact. All right. But if you told Randall Cunningham, Jason Campbell, Seneca Wallace, Cleo Lemon, Teddy Bridgewater, if you told them, hey, man, you'll be on the fast track. You could be the quarterback coach, and in 3 years, you'll be the offensive coordinator. And then inside of 8 years, you'll be a head coach in the NFL. Every single one of them would have taken that job.
For sure.
100%. So it's not just a coincidence. They just never had access to the fast track lane, to that fast track pipeline. So if you're the NFL, we can't say we want the best leaders while we continue to recycle the same leader profile. You got coaches that have been coaching for 20 years that get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 head coaching opportunities in a league comprised of players that are 70% black. You can't tell me that there's just not enough qualified coaches that want to do it. They just feel like they don't qualify for the position because they don't have the right circumstance. They don't make the right people comfortable. And they don't have the access to the good old boys club. They don't have the family lineage. They don't have the dad or the uncle or the grandpa who was a coach here and did that. And that's why they're not getting the opportunities. They are competent. They are the best men for the job. Why do we have 10 head coaching opportunities anyway? Well, it's because those other guys weren't the right guys for the job. So why do we keep recycling the same guys and giving them 2, 3, 4, 5 chances? I'm all for second and third chances. But I think that there's a lot of players out there who are black that would love the opportunity to get on the fast track pipeline.
Of course.
Let's give them an opportunity and see if they can get it done.
Viral spiral number 2. All right, let's bring it home because it is not just about who gets hired.
Yeah.
It's about what kind of life the league expects you to live. Listen to this clip from the Seattle Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald.
You know, on Thursdays, I don't get to see Jack throughout the week as much. So Thursdays I try to get, which is today, I try to get home pretty quick to be with him for maybe a half hour before he goes to bed. And then I got a setup at my house where I can go, and then I work on the game plan. But it's able to spend some more time at home and be with Jack. And also it kind of lets you kind of get away from everything and kind of see things from a different perspective. And it keeps you fresh, so it's been helpful.
Now listen to this clip from the Buffalo Bills head coach Joe Brady.
I definitely can't look at you now. This job demands sacrifice, right? I'm calling you on the way to a game while you're going into labor, right? And I find out after a game that you go through, you give birth by yourself. This game takes away time and energy and presence from you. And you've carried the weight that comes with this job so that I can pursue my calling.
Man, that's tough to hear. And it honestly makes you feel for both the families when you listen to those clips.
Well, Minnesota Vikings general manager Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah was fired after a slew of failed draft picks, missing on the QB this year, choosing J.J. McCarthy over Sam Darnold, who is now in the Super Bowl, and going 9-8 this season after going 14-3 last year. But now it is being reported that back in 2023, he took 2 weeks of paternity leave to spend time with and take care of his newborn son and take care of his wife. And the discourse around it in the NFL circles is that it was frowned upon.
Yeah.
Is the NFL's work-life balance toxic?
Yes, it's toxic because football is the job, but your family is your life. So if the NFL can clown you for being a father for 2 weeks, what does that really say about what we're really worshiping here? Is it football or is it ego? Now, some reports are saying that, former Minnesota Vikings GM Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah took 2 weeks of paternity leave, like you mentioned, after his son was born, worked remotely, still was doing his job, helping the team, but some people in the league reacted to it like it was a scandal. Oh my God, I can't believe he's not helping with wins and losses. What about the wins and losses with his family? Mm-hmm. What if something catastrophic had happened? What if there's some information that we don't know? HIPAA laws and all that. We don't know exactly what's going on. What if his wife had complications? What if his son had complications and he needed to be there for his family? We don't know all that information. But what I do know is that if your job requires you to abandon your life to prove your commitment to the game, that's not commitment. That's dysfunction. I ran off the field at a football game live on a broadcast because I wanted to be there for my wife and my kid. They will always take precedent over the job. And the funniest lie the NFL tells you is they'll remember your sacrifices. No, they won't.
No, they won't.
They won't remember your sacrifices. The NFL will replace you on Tuesday. Your kids will remember you forever. I'll always have that moment of running off that field at that game. The Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
My daughter will hear about that story for the rest of her life. It will continue to go viral because that's how important they were. I gave my knee for my team in Washington, and some people treated it like I didn't, like they didn't care. So the NFL will not remember your sacrifices. Ask anyone who's going through the process of trying to get their medical clearance and all that. They're doing everything they can to make sure you don't remember your sacrifices. So never sacrifice your family, in my opinion, for the job. What do you think about that?
I absolutely agree. And we know a lot of people think that Tom Brady sacrificed his family for the job.
Sheesh.
Because now we don't know what the truth is, but in a lot of cases they said that, Giselle was just kind of done with it and gave him an option. Hey, it's either us or you're going to get out of retirement. And, he came back and lost his family. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't freaking know. But it was out there. So I think any job that requires you, like the first video we watched said that the dude, he gets on Thursday nights, he gets 30 minutes with his kid. Like that is heartbreaking. And no, your kid will not remember your sacrifice.
Yeah.
He will remember that you weren't there for any of the bedtime stories. He'll remember that you weren't there for any of the basketball practices, any of the football games. That's what the kids will remember, because kids spell love Time, time. Kids don't
Facts.
spell love, oh, dad went to work and made money for me so I can live in this house.
All right.
Kids want your time.
And I think that's powerful, you know, coming from a mom as you got your 3-year-old baby Gia right here behind you. And it's like, yes, this is our home, right? And this is our studio. We're shooting this show. We're talking to you guys at home. But we're never going to not embrace our kids. Mm-hmm. Because we're in the middle of our home environment. So they're always welcome on the show. They're always going to be welcome to be a part of this, because if we can take 33 minutes out of our day to shoot a show and talk to you guys, and hope you leave comments to let us know what you think about our takes about Drake Maye and Mike Vrabel and the coaching environment and what's going on, we're not going to stop them from coming into here. There's so much more to life than just the job you do. There's something I learned just through my own process of when you play in the NFL, you'll hear a lot of players say, I'll die for this. And do they really mean that? I don't think they do. But it's a persona that has been built up by the NFL that we are gladiators. And don't get me wrong, we are. Football players are some of the toughest people on the planet. They can overcome so many different things. But are you really going to die for your teammates on that football field in the same way that you would be willing to die for your child? I don't think you are. I don't think you'd be willing to die for your teammates in the same way that you would be willing to die for your wife. I don't think that's true. And it's hard for guys in it to understand that. And they say, oh, you just not focused on wins and losses. That's a loser's mentality. No, it's not. I want to win at everything I do. You want to win at everything you do. But I also understand the value of being there for my kids and being there for my wife. And that should never be treated as a scandal. Any player that wants to go and see the birth of their child and miss a game for it, I applaud you. Mm-hmm. They say, well, what if it's the Super Bowl? That's a different question.
The birth of your kid is a Super Bowl.
That's a different situation. But if you made the decision to miss the Super Bowl because you wanted to see the birth of your child and be there for your child and your wife, I'd applaud you. I wouldn't criticize it. That's a tough decision. Preseason game, regular season game, number 15, Super Bowl, none of them will matter when your kid turns 15, 16 years old.
And like you're saying, like the guys say that they're willing to die for this, but look what happens when they do die, right? Take an NFL player that has died. The league moves on. The league still goes on as normal. The league still plays their games, and they say their thoughts and prayers, and they keep moving. The only people whose life stops is your family.
Yep. So, shout out to Kwesi, Adolfo Menza. I think that takes guts. Yeah, man, it didn't work out as a GM, and maybe some of the draft picks didn't pan out, and maybe the decision at quarterback, maybe J.J. McCarthy ends up righting that ship, and he does become the quarterback that they thought he would be. But it didn't work out for Kwesi. But I'm not going to knock him while he's down because he made a decision to put his family in the very position that they should be in, which is first. Like I said, football is a job. Family is life. Yeah. And your kids will remember what you do for them forever. Your profession will not. They're going to go get the next person. So I'm not telling you don't give it your all in your profession. What I'm saying is make sure you have your priorities in order. So that's it for us today. We appreciate you guys. I think we got that in 33 minutes or less, but if we didn't, we appreciate you guys for sticking with us. Let us know in the comments what you think about all of our takes. Let us know what you want us to talk about next. And we will see you guys next time. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like, follow us on social media. Go find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the Super Bowl, baby. Peace.